Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. What happens when you think about a problem for too long? And, well, what's too long? Anything more than 72 hours? Say what? I know, whenever I discovered this law of the mind, I was blown away because I'm like, oh my gosh, there are things that I have held on to for decades and not addressed. And now I know why they were such a challenge. I want to share it with you. Okay. When you think about a problem for too long and then you finally decide to do something about it, as soon as you say yes, the opposite choice of doing nothing looks a whole hoop and bunch better. Why? Because the longer you think about something, the more you have owned it. Let's just take a moment and think about your clothes closet. Because you know that there's an outfit in there that you have not worn for several years for whatever reason, and you have not donated it to the local charity because every time you look at it, you're like, oh, but it's so cute and I'll get back into it someday. Well, if you can't let go of a pair of jeans that you haven't worn in years, how are you going to let go of a problem you've had since age 8? See how this is a challenge? So this is what you need to do to be able to resolve this and start getting into results. Start owning your goal getting instead of always being stuck on the treadmill of goal setting, but you never actually get anywhere. I call them hamster wheels. You expend an awful lot of energy, but you never get what it is that you want. Okay. So do not allow more than 72 hours in the deliberation stage. You need to take action fast. 7 years is the average amount of time that a friendship will last. If you have something go past 7 years, you will typically have that friend for life. Now, some marriages, it's known as the 7-year itch. But here's the reason why we will tend to break up around the 7 years. If something bothers you with that friendship and you don't say anything, because you're like, oh, it's no big deal, it's minor. Well, it will continue to build one on top of the other on top of the other. And after 7 years, that is 2,555 days of continually thinking about this one thing that has aggravated you. Now, for relationships to last 7 years, that's because the meaning that you've attached to the relationship is going to be stronger than the aggravation. But if you don't address right off the bat when something shows up and, say, we need to get this worked out, whatever it might be, then you're going to take ownership of the problem until you hit the tipping point. And the tipping point is typically, if you even last that long, a couple of thousand days, and then it's like, I'm done with this. But by that point, you're in an all or nothing stage. Okay, so do not allow more than 72 hours in the deliberation stage. You've got to decide fast. If there are more than two choices, deliberate on the one that has the least amount of investment, whether it might be time, whether it might be money, but then move to the upgraded version quickly, because you do not want to develop a connection with something that you're not going to act on. And then, and both of the options. You can say, okay, how am I going to use this now? But how is it going to also benefit me in the future? It is not just about resolving your painful past. If you do that, you are just going to have to settle for a good life. And I want it to be great. I want it to be magnificent. I want you to realize just how brilliant you are. So now I want you to start thinking about, what is this going to bring out in you for future goals? How maybe there's an area of your health that you need to get resolved. Well, let's look at how that's going to ripple out and also impact your 5 to Thrive. And your 5 to Thrive is money, health, relationships, career, and influence. So, what's it going to mean now that you've got this health issue resolved? What's it going to mean as far as you now seeing yourself as abundant and worthy of prosperity? And how does the career look? How are those relationships now? What are you attracting into yourself because you are now a woman of influence? People are attracted to power, but there are two types of power. There's revelation power, and then there's abuse of power. And abuse of power is when there always has to be somebody put down for others to feel good about themselves. I saw this happen in a function here recently where someone started talking bad about another group. And I knew right off the bat, this is the only way you feel like you can have power in your life. But I did not coach them on it because they haven't hired me. Okay. But you've hired me. You've brought me in and you have given me the investment of the one thing that you cannot make more of, which is time. Everything else you can recreate. Time is the one thing that you cannot. So I'm asking you to start taking responsibility for that future self that has been calling out to you, going, come on, you can do this, goddess. Let's make it happen. And become that person of influence in all areas of your life. But to do that, you're going to have to address how you are owning the problem. And now you need to take action on owning the resolution. Now, if you want my assistance with this, there are two ways. One, you want to test it out and see exactly what it is that I teach. Go to drewdawnferguson.com/2021. And you're going to see where I'm going to teach you how to believe in yourself with maximum mindset. Because once you believe in yourself, you have unstoppable confidence, esteem, and worth. Because no one can do to you what you don't already do to yourself first. Okay. If you decide that maybe you want to have a conversation with me to see if we should be working together privately. And if we do, and it's before this course takes place, Maximum Mindset, I'll gift you the course. And you can find that out by reaching out to me at 1-636-699-7791. Tell me that you want a consult, and I will reach back out to you. Either if you text me, I'll send you a text back. If you call me, I'll call you back, and I'll give you a couple of times to be able to do that. Okay, so let's go back over this again. The longer you have thought about a problem without taking action, the more you own it. So as soon as you decide, maybe I should go check out this course or reach out to Dawn, there's going to be a part of you that goes, no, we need to own this problem, because that's how you've identified who you are, is through unresolvable problems. And that's the very first step of making progress with your brilliance and magnificence, is you have to define the problem in solvable terms. So there's going to be a part of you that says, no, we need to hold back on that. So just expect it. When you are thinking about moving forward, Do not go longer than 72 hours without a decision. If there are two choices, start with the smallest and then work up to the largest, and then ask yourself which one will reveal the best parts of me in a way that I feel like it's an opportunity without getting overwhelmed. Okay, so until you can believe in yourself, borrow my belief in you, because I think you are absolutely brilliant. And right now, the world is a pretty dark place. It needs your light more than ever. So time to turn you on even brighter.